In this video, we will discuss about Azure AI Vision custom models. So basically in Azure AI Vision, we have ability to create custom AI models which can help us to achieve two main types of computer vision problems. Those are image classification and object detection. So what is actually image classification? So image classification is the process where software can analyze an image and determines what category or a class the image belongs to. For example, if you have images of different animals, an image classification model can help identify whether image contains a dog or a cat or a bird. And when it comes to object detection goes a step further than image classification. Here, instead of just categorizing the image, it can identify the location of the specific objects within an image. For example, if you have an image with multiple animals, an object detection can identify and locate each animal within an image. So these are the two major tasks which you can achieve by designing Azure AI Vision custom models. So first of all, let us understand what are the custom models and what are the features when it comes to Azure AI Vision custom models. So we have got three different categories under which we have image classification, object detection and product recognition. So image classification, as I said, here your model can predict the labels based on the entire image content. So it can typically relate the main subject of the image and it can provide a particular class label to it. Like if you go with an example, you have these three images. So your images can be classified as apple, banana or orange. And when it comes to classification, you have got two different types wherein you have multi-class classification or multi-label classification. So multi-class classification is something like your image can be classified under multiple classes. Okay, so each image belongs to only one class. So let's say you have multiple images and you can have multiple classes and your each image will belong to only one class. But when it comes to multi-label classification, it means that your each image or a particular image can be associated with multiple labels. So you can call this as apple and you can call this as fruit, right? Or you can call this as apple or ripe. You can categorize it under ripe, okay? So that is how image classification model you can build if you want to classify your own images with your own type of class and labels. Next, you have object detection. So this technique is to identify the presence and the location of the objects in an image. So when it comes to the components of object detection, you have something called class label and location. So when you use this model, your image will be identified with the type of each object detected. So based on the objects that it detects in an image, a class label will be assigned for each particular object that is identified in the image. And apart from that, it will also highlight that particular object. Basically, it will provide the location. It provides the specific bounding box coordinates around each detected object. So this kind of functionality is useful in AI-enabled checkout system in grocery stores where you want to identify the items present on the shelf. So when it comes to product recognition, it is just an enhanced form of object detection where you are focusing more on product labels and their particular brand names. So basically it is just an improved accuracy of your object detection and it particularly precisely specify the accurate identification of your products. Here also it predicts class label and the location. So it identifies the product type. If you see this image, it will identify the type and also the brand name based on the image of your particular product. And it also highlights and specify the coordinates around this each detected product within a image. Let's say if you have an image with so many different kind of products with different brands, it will easily identify and it will highlight them with the bounding box coordinates. So this is nothing but the custom features of your AI vision. So custom features in the sense you can train your own custom models to use these three features of your Azure AI Vision custom model. So when you have to train, you have to create a custom vision project, right? And there are some steps that you need to follow to build your custom model. So like you have to, set up the resources to train, and then you have to do the evaluation, how you going to integrate it with your application. Now, first of all, you have to deploy a Azure AI Vision resource. So once you have done, then you have to define certain components of your custom vision project. So like you have to have a data set wherein you will have a collection of images, your own images or the images based on your domain which you want to specify here, for which you are designing your model. So you need to have the collection of that data set for training. And then you need to have a something called COCO file. We'll see further what is this actually, but in brief, it is a JSON file which actually defines the labels and annotations for your images that you are going to use for training. So once you are first trying to train your model, you need to specify the labels and the annotations to your images that you are using for training. So once you have all these data set and COCO file, next you go for model training where you will specify what type of model, what is your data set, what is your training budget, like how much data you are going to use for training out of your whole data set. And next you go for model performance wherein you evaluate, wherein you test your model, okay, and then check how well your model is able to do the classification or object detection with any new image that you are providing to your custom vision project. So now here it is a detailed, these are just the components of your custom vision project. But actually the detailed step is first you create a blob storage. Okay, because now when you are using your images or your data set, collection of your data set that you have, you need to store it somewhere, right? So you need to have a blob storage where you set up a storage container and you will upload all your training images. So once you have done that, you define a data set or you define a project type, like whether you are going for image classification or object detection or product recognition. And once you have defined your project type, you link that project type to the blob storage where you have uploaded your training data. After that, you go for Azure Machine Learning Data Labeling Project. So in Azure Machine Learning itself, you have something called data labeling, which you can use to label the images. The images that you have uploaded here in blob storage, you can label them and generate a COCO file. Once you have generated the COCO file, you attach your completed COCO file to your dataset, to your project. And then you start training your custom model using that dataset and the labels. Once your model is trained, then you have to evaluate the model's performance. And if it is not performing well or if the parameters of your performance measure is, not in a proper, it's not giving proper results, then you go for making some adjustments. Once you are satisfied with the performance of your model, You can deploy your model either in a Vision Studio or you can deploy within your application. Basically, deploy within your application means you can just integrate it in your application. But if you want to use it via Vision Studio, you can directly use it from Vision Studio itself. Okay. So we will see all these when we do a lab exercise, how we have to perform all these steps. Now, when it comes to Coco file, here is a brief details about Coco file. It's a JSON file which is used for annotating your image data sets. Okay. So it has got three main sections which you need to specify when you generate this Coco file. So here you will be putting like it's a kind of JSON file where you have first attribute as images. In this particular, you will be specifying the ID, file name, width, height of your image. So basically, it contains some image metadata. And then you specify the annotation, which actually describe the object that is in your images. You will have an annotation ID, image ID, and then you have a category ID. Then you have bounding box coordinates, the area, okay, and some other features like segmentation or the crowd flags and all. And then you specify the category. So basically here you specify the actual label to your particular image. So all these are linked. If you see, we have a file ID and then you have annotation where you specify the category ID, and this category ID is nothing but the category that your image is classified under, right? So this Coco file is very important when it comes to training your model. So this is all about how you can design your custom AI vision model to use for classifying your image, wherein you have three different tasks that you can accomplish. And we will see with the exercise an example with the demo how we can perform these steps. Thank you.